Hello and welcome to the Red Rooster Golf Podcast. Alongside company founder Kerry Moher, I am Brad Fritsch, former PGA Tour player, current Korn Ferry Tour member, hanging on for dear life, and Red Rooster founding partner. Red Rooster Golf, join us in waking up your golf glove game, the oft-neglected part of your equipment and yet ever-present on each and every shot you hit. Learn to manage your glove, make sure it's there to help you, and change it when it's not. Red Rooster Golf. Wake up, shake up, step up, and give. So we're recording this podcast. It's been a while for sure. I'm joined by Kerry. Kerry, how are you, man?
I'm doing terrific. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. Yeah, these podcasts, they're hard to nail down, aren't they?
Well,
we had this amazing goal, and hey, man, we do it when we can, right?
Yeah, when we started, I remember we were trying to do bi-weekly, and that we never really accomplished. And then we shifted it to monthly, which we thought was feasible. And I think in general, it should be. We just, we ran into a bit of call it a interesting summer. So we sort of had to roll with the punches, but we're back at it here, and I'm excited. We got, we have amazing guests today from Streamsong, and talking about our Golden Glove contest, and we have a number of really exciting guests coming up. So we will be back at it, and we should be able to accomplish the monthly check-ins, but we also just want it to be meaningful, relevant. We won't just sort of roll out a podcast just to check the box. So, but this one's particularly exciting. I think just awesome timing, some great updates for everyone.
Yeah, salute to the podcast world is not as easy as it originally seemed to me. Takes a lot. But yeah, our guest today, Craig Falanga, he's the Director of Sales and Marketing for Streamsong, which is where we are taking the Golden Glove contest to. 2024 Golden Glove contest, and we're doing the prize in early 2025, early January, first week of January, Streamsong Resort in middle of nowhere, Florida. I've heard about it for years, never been there. You've been there, and we'll kind of recap that during our chat with Craig. But I'm excited to have him on. He's been there for a while. And he'll give us an overview of Streamsong, what guests can expect there, and a little bit, I think, of the history. I can't wait to ask him about how Streamsong came about, what it's built on. The designers at Streamsong, I cheated, took a look at who they are, and it's a kind of a who's who of your world, the golf architecture world. And I'm sure you're kind of anxious to dig into the weeds of how those courses came about and just the nature of them, because I know you're a golf architecture guy and you love this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a bucket list resort for anyone who loves the game and loves these new age modern architects who are doing some spectacular work, really interesting, unique designs, but built around fun. And I think that's what sort of Streamsong personifies. And it's really great to catch up with Craig because he's been there from the start. He knows the resort well, the history well, and you can just tell he's got a passion for it. And so Streamsong, just want to give a shout out to them, just been an incredible partner for the Golden Glove contest. So they've been amazing, and we're really looking forward to getting there in January and enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. And anyone who listens to this, you can go to redroostergolf.com and have a no purchase entry into the opportunity to win this trip to Streamsong. Of course, when you purchase, you also get the opportunity to win a Golden Glove. But on the other side, the other half of the contest is a no purchase necessary option. You slide your email address into our system, and you have an opportunity to get chosen. You and a friend, we take you to Streamsong, play golf for a few days, and have a great time.
Yeah, so that's right. The final draw is November 8th. So if you're hearing this before November 8th, head to redroostergolf.com. You'll find the the Golden Glove contest, and you can put in as many email entries as you want, share it with friends. Yeah, if you hear it before November 8th, you've still got a chance.
Awesome. Well, let's talk to Craig. We are delighted to be joined by Craig Falanga, Director of Sales and Marketing at Streamsong Resort in Florida. Greg, thank you for taking the time to chat with us. How are you?
Doing great this morning. My pleasure to be here. And we are excited about having y'all here in January.
Well, we're excited too, probably more excited than you are. Kerry being in Ottawa, Canada, he won't be getting much golf done in January. And myself, I've played about the least amount of golf I've ever played in a calendar year this year. So I'm excited to get down there and, play the back tees and just torture myself probably for a couple of days. It's going to be great. Craig, why don't you give us a little bit of background on yourself, where you came from, where you've been, how long you've been at Streamsong?
Sure. I've been in the resort and golf business now for, it's hard to believe, almost 25 years. Grew up in Louisiana, played college football at a small school in Alabama, Samford University, and then moved to the Panhandle of Florida. I was actually a TV sports anchor for a couple of years.
Oh, cool.
Before I got into the resort business. And
Neat.
so worked for a big resort in the Panhandle of Florida for about almost 9 years, then moved down to Jupiter and was at a large resort there that had a PGA tour event, still does. And then went to work for Kemper Sports back in 2011. And there was this new project that they were talking about when they hired me, and they needed somebody with some resort golf experience to kind of help with the opening of it. And come to find out, it was a place called Streamsong that nobody, knew about. It was in the middle of the state of Florida. I lived in Jupiter at the time. I was like, why would you build anything out in the middle of Central Florida in the sticks, where this site was? And the first time I saw it, you could understand why you would build it pretty quick. The history of the resort, it was an old phosphate mine. So you've got, 60 and 70 foot tailing piles in the middle of what is otherwise just completely flat pasture land. And it makes for just incredible topography. A lot of people who are familiar with, the fescue grasses that you see up in the Northeast and the cooler season areas in the Midwest. We don't have fescue, but we have this stuff called Kogan, and it blows in the wind just like the fescue does and really creates a great kind of buffer to the golf course. And the textures that it presents, while you're on the course, it really is incredible. And it changes color in the winter, so it kind of goes brown around the edges. And it really frames the golf courses just magnificently, as you can see from the videos and the pictures and things that you've seen. So first time I saw this place, there wasn't grass, there wasn't a lodge, there wasn't a clubhouse. They had the holes pretty well shaped. It's a complete sand site, so the drainage is fantastic. It's really a golf course architect's dream to build in a total sand site like this one. And we all knew pretty quick, like, okay, I get it now. And then, obviously once the grass went down and we opened, and it's been a pretty special place.
That's very cool. So I'm familiar with Samford. I went to Campbell University, so we were in
The Fighting Camels.
That's right. We were in y'all's conference for most of my golf career, like late 90s is when I played. So
yeah, same. That's when I was there.
Familiar with Samford for sure. Craig, before we go into kind of the nitty gritty of the actual golf courses at Streamsong, can you tell us how you guys came through the recent hurricanes, Helene and Milton?
Yeah, it was Helene was really didn't impact us too much at all. We had a little bit of rain. Milton was, again, I grew up in Louisiana and I've been in Florida for 25 years. So I've been through a bunch of hurricanes, and this one was pretty interesting. I don't want to do that again anytime soon. Really fortunate that the resort was on the southern side of the storm. So it did not take near the wind or the rain that the the northwestern side of the eye wall brought a lot with it. And fortunately, Streamsong is on the southern side. So the biggest thing for us was getting power back, which we got within a couple of days. We opened everything back the Tuesday following the hurricane. and everything's back up running like you wouldn't even have known it had occurred here at the resort. If you're in and around Tampa, you can still see there's still trees down all over the place, and they're still picking up, debris and things like that from the side of the road, just because of because Tampa had not ever had a storm. There's so many old oak trees and things like that had never had to stand up to 100-mile-an-hour winds. A lot of them fell down, and we don't have any trees really at Streamsong, so there weren't any trees to fall down. And we got the lighter side of it. So we were really fortunate, very blessed. But we were able to welcome guests back on the Tuesday following, and we're back rocking and rolling now.
That's great. That's good news. So getting into the golf course part of Streamsong, because there are a whole bunch of things that you can do at Streamsong, but golf is obviously first and foremost. I know there's the red, the black, and the blue golf courses, and now there's a golf course called the Chain, which is, I believe, 19 holes, all par threes. Although there's a really long hole, 293. I don't know what that's designated as, but so why don't you go through the golf courses, who designed them? Because I know it's a who's who of designers, and
Sure.
and kind of what guests should expect from each one.
Yeah. So red and blue opened first. They were actually being designed at the same time. Red is a Bill Core and Ben Crenshaw design. Blue is Tom Doak, which at the time was Renaissance Golf. And it's pretty unique because I don't think there are any other examples where those two architecture firms were working simultaneously on the same site. And it basically pushed those two guys, because whether they admit it or not, I think their shapers wanted to build a better course than the other companies' shapers were building. I think the other thing that's unique about it is there was a lot of horse trading that went on in the routing process. So when you play red and blue, you might see some holes on red that have some Tom Doak elemental things to them. And you might see some holes on blue that have some Core and Crenshaw elemental designs to them, because during the process of routing the courses, they swapped a couple times. And it makes it really unique. I think if you look at the number of courses now that Core and Crenshaw have in the top 100, I think it's approaching 8 or 9, and Doak is right there at 7 or 8. Both those guys do fantastic work. So those were the two original courses. They opened in December of 2012 with the red and blue clubhouse. And then the Streamsong Lodge, which is 216 rooms, opened in January of 14. So basically a year and a month later. And then it was always, we're on 7,000 acres here, so we've got plenty of land to build more golf courses. So it was always a plan to eventually build another course. I think at the time the owners really wanted to see what's the feasibility of these two before we, get too far out over our skis and see, what's next. So Gil Hance was commissioned to build Streamsong Black. He started on that in late 15, early 16, and opened in September of 2017. I think it's also worth noting when the year that Red opened in 2012, it was named Best New Course in America, and Blue was named Best New Course B in America. And then Black was Best New Course in America the year that it opened in 2017. So really cool to have two of the best new courses in America, and really the only reason the other one didn't win is because it was up against its sibling for the rankings. And then all three courses to this day remain in the top 30 you can play in both the Golf Digest and Golf Week rankings, which is there's only one other place in the United States that can boast that right now, but we won't talk about them. But we're the only one in the Southeast that really in the Eastern U.S. that has that distinction. So it's really unique. With Streamsong Black came an 18-hole putting course called the Gauntlet. That's right outside of the Black Clubhouse. Since then, we've also opened a really cool bar called the Glove Bar that services the Gauntlet. So while you're out there putting, just night putting at night. Actually, you'd be putting before night because we don't light it. But you can drinks are easy to come by. All the tee markers on the 18-hole short course or the putting course are drink holders, all tee markers. So that makes it a little bit easier for you to have a couple of pops when you get done. And so black really kind of rounded out the big three courses. And then we'd always talked about, okay, what's next? And short courses have become extremely popular. Brad, you called it a par 3 course earlier. We actually don't even have par on the scorecard out there.
Okay.
So it was designed to be a match play course. It's about 3,000 yards. It's 19 holes if you play it all the way back. It's called the chain because in the routing process, so Corin Crenshaw also did the chain. And in the routing process, they'd be walking around on the site that is walking distance from the lodge. It's probably 400 yards from the front door of the lodge as the crow flies. They kept stepping over these old dragline chains, and draglines are the giant excavators that were used to mine the property. And we hadn't decided on a name yet or a logo or anything like that. And there were a couple of working titles, because there's a 6-hole loop and a 13-hole loop. So Bill and Ben would refer to the 6-hole loop because it plays through the only trees that are out here. There's a really cool old oak grove, and it kind of plays around those. So he was calling that the Oaks. And then the other 13 holes, he was calling the Mines, and really didn't want to have two different names for the same golf course. So we went back and forth, and those chains were always there. We're like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could figure out a way to work those into the story of the course, and maybe we use them for, I don't know, some kind of monument or decoration or something like that. So we ended up naming the golf course the Chain, which plays off of links, which it is, links golf. These chains are about 100 pounds each length, 100 to each link, 100 to 125 pounds.
Wow.
We actually use them to mark the designated teeing areas. So
Cool.
If you've been to Streamsong, there's only 2 heights of cut. There's tees and fairways and greens, and then everything else runs into rough and native area and Kogan grass and stuff like that. So what we did was we marked the beginning of each, call it a tee box, with one of the chain links stuck in the ground vertically. And then we marked the front of each tee box with another chain link stuck in the ground vertically. And the concept is you can play from anywhere in between those chain links you want. And the winner of each hole picks where you tee off from on the next hole. The scorecards are marked with the yardage from the back and the front. And then we also have drink holders each day with a sandbox with the number from the drink holder on the sandbox. So if you don't want to be imaginative and you just want to play from a tee, you can do that from the drink holders each day.
That's really cool. And if you think you're good enough to dial in a perfect yardage, then you can go to that yardage too.
Well, I'll tell you where it's even more fun is when you're playing match play against somebody and they're not very good from that yardage. You just keep giving them that yardage over and over. It's great.
That's good. So I know
somebody gets the shanks from 95 yards. You're going to hit every shot from 95 yards until they stop shanking it.
Absolutely. Play as few holes as you need to in match play.
Yeah.
I know that Carrie's actually been to the resort. So Carrie, what kind of were your first impressions of that property, and what did you actually get to play?
Yeah, hearing the history, I guess I must have been there around 2015, 2016 because red and blue, I played both red and blue, and black was under construction.
Yeah.
And it is the definition of sort of like middle of nowhere. And I think at that time, that was still a pretty novel concept to hear that. So I was hearing a lot of the early buzz, because I had seen the, 1A and 1B best new courses in America. So, they were on my hit list, immediately, but I didn't really know what to expect other than that. I'd heard they'd won some accolades, and I'd heard that it was pretty remote. And the property is incredible. Those 60 to 70 foot blowouts, you almost think like if you get to the top of one of them, you're going to see like waves crashing. Like you feel like you're on the ocean, or you feel like you're close, because it's this dunescape. that's really spectacular. And I just remember taking so many pictures. It's probably like the two courses I've taken like the most pictures of. It's so photogenic. It's just every hole just kind of hits you with this mix of the sand and the Kogan grass, and water comes into play, etc. It's really just a spectacular sight, and it's massive. You could tell just at that time that there was, had room to grow. And so it's neat to hear, really different courses like blue and red. That's interesting. I didn't know the background. I knew they were being built at the same time. And there's that, I think it's pretty healthy, call it a rivalry.
Oh,
Sure. You're really looking at like probably, and you throw, Hanson Wagner into the mix with Coeur Crenshaw and Doak and Renaissance. I mean, you're talking about, in my opinion, the three top, architects, modern architects, right? And, Hanson Wagner have kind of spent a little bit more time doing a lot more renovation work, but super capable. And I'm really excited to play black because I haven't played it. And my understanding is it's quite different. It's nice that he probably got to see, whereas, red and blue were, a little bit of cloak and dagger as they were, building out, and, there's a little bit of sharing. He got to see what red and blue had to offer and wanted to make sure that black offered something, completely different. And just the accommodations, just everything about it, it's really just an incredible resort. And to hear now that they've got, you've got this 18-hole putting course, the chain sounds really cool. And just that idea of having it walkable at the end of the day. I can't get enough golf. So I'm the guy I love. I can play 36 and hit up the putting course and have, and be excited to play the chain. So on is just, you're totally immersed. And I know there's a lot of other amenities too. Maybe you could speak to some of the other, there's the bass fishing and skeet shooting, and there's a lot going on there, which is why it was really at the top of our list for our Golden Glove contest.
Yeah, so I actually neglected to mention, when we built the chain, we also built another putting course. That's so the Gauntlet is 1.2 acres. We have the Bucket putting course that's 2.2 acres, and it's in the chain kind of works around it. We have a food truck out there that's part of that, and Mosaic was kind enough to plant one of their old dragline buckets in the middle of the putting course, so you can actually see the piece of equipment that basically mined the site. It's a 22,000 pound, 65-yard bucket that's in the ground, and the three of us could stand in that bucket with our arms out and not touch the sides of it. It's that big.
Wow.
I'm actually looking. I'm looking out the window of my office right now, and I actually have a view of it from my office, which is kind of cool. So that's new, and that's a lot of fun. And I should say that the chain opened in preview play late last year. We actually are officially opened for what I would consider not preview play as of October 1st. So it's brand new. But the other amenities on the resort, we are really fortunate that the company that owned us before, Mosaic, the Mayan company, had this pond out here that they stocked probably 50 years ago, and it was almost totally unfished unless you were one of the very high up dignitaries with Mosaic or one of their clients. I understand that Bill Dance occasionally came out here and shot some shows.
Okay.
Bass fishing is so good. But we now do guided bass fishing on these ponds directly outside of the back of the lodge. And, I tell people it's not fishing, it's catching. When you go, like, I don't really like fishing so much because you're just riding around in a boat. I like catching. And that's what it is. We've got a Bass Hall of Fame on our website. Anybody that catches a fish that's 8 pounds or more goes on there, and it's loaded up with people. I think the biggest fish that's come out of one of these ponds is a 12-pound bass. If you've ever caught a bass, that's a lunker. That one is, it's like bringing a Wahoo into your deep sea fishing boat. So it's a lot of fun. And guests really enjoy it. Fall and spring, the fishing is really good, but it's pretty warm here all the time. So the fishing really is not ever bad. Unless it gets super hot in the summertime, and then it slows down a little bit just because they get a little sluggish. And then we have a 15 station sporting clay shooting course. We've got 12 gauge and 20 gauge shotguns. And it's really, if you haven't ever shot sporting clays, even if you don't know how to shoot, our guides can teach you how, and they'll get you dialed in pretty quickly. But you're out in the middle of nowhere, so you don't have to worry about, hitting anything other than what you're aiming at or nothing, which is great. And it's removed far enough. It's about 2 miles off the property, and you come back onto the property, so you don't hear it when you're playing golf. So it's not like you're standing over a tee shot and you hear a bunch of shotguns go off.
Right.
It's far enough away and designed as such so that you don't have to, it doesn't interfere with the golf experience at all. We have archery also out there. It's pretty fun. If you haven't ever shot a crossbow, it's different. But that's a lot of fun as well. And then let's see, we have a spa. We have now 9 restaurants and bars.
Holy
plenty of places to eat and drink, because you are kind of a captive audience when you get here. You don't really want to go off of property once you're here, and we make it so that you don't have to. We shuttle you back and forth. So the clubhouses, there's a clubhouse for red and blue, and there's a clubhouse for black. And we shuttle you to from the lodge to any of those you want to go to. So you don't really have to drive your car once you're here. We valet everything. And once you check in, you don't ever have to touch your clubs. We move those back and forth between courses for you. So they're staged at the beginning of the day, and then we'll shuttle you to and from the lodge to wherever you want to go that day.
Craig, I'm looking a lot more forward to this trip than before the podcast started. This is going to be great. So before we dig into the Golden Glove contest, I wanted to ask, I feel like Streamsong was one of the first kind of destination bucket list resorts in the U.S. I won't name the others out of respect, of course, but I wanted to ask you how you kind of differentiate yourself, not just when it was built, but in 2024 now. You're 13, 14, or 11, 12 years old now. Everyone who's a golfer in America knows about you. So how do you...
You're not going to go that far. There's still people who haven't.
Oh, come on. No, I have to think that most people have
I'm
heard of...
trying to get my marketing budget approved, Brad. So
Okay. Fair enough. But how do you differentiate yourself from the other resorts who get great publicity as well? And kind of going forward, are there any longer term plans that you are able to share?
Yeah. Look, the biggest thing with us is you can play golf here 365 days a year, right? The seasonality here, because we're in Central Florida, as long as you don't, it's as hot here in the summertime as it is in some places in the Northeast, quite honestly. We don't really get into the hundreds. We're in the, low to mid 90s in the summertime, and as a high. And in the winter, probably the coolest we get for a high is in the 50s. In the lows, seldom do we ever have a frost delay. Rarely is it in the 30s in the wintertime. A typical winter day here is like 68 for the high and 58 for the low, which is just about, I'd take that 24/7, 365.
Yeah, me too.
So that's one of the key differentiators for us, because in our, let's just call it our competitive set of, the top 5 or 6 golf resorts in the country, they're all very seasonal. You can generally only play them between, let's call it June and September, maybe October if you're lucky. And then the rest of the year, you're going to be fighting snow or some really severe cold weather, or, a lot of rain or rainy season or something like that. So big differentiator there. We are remote, but our proximity to 3 major airports is really nice, actually. We're an hour, call it an hour and 15 minutes from the Tampa airport, which is a major hub for American, United, and Delta gets in here pretty easily. Orlando is probably an hour and a half to an hour 45, depending on how I-4 traffic is.
Right.
Quite honestly. And then Sarasota is a little hidden gem airport that you can get in and out of really quickly, and it's about the same distance from a time standpoint as the Tampa airport, because there's really not any traffic getting out of Sarasota. So 3 airports that service it. If you're going to go to any of our competitive set, you're looking at that long or longer from the nearest airport to get there, and you're probably going to have to connect. Where with us, you can get into Tampa with a direct flight from most places, unless you're in a small town somewhere. The other thing, I think I talked about it earlier, but we're the only place in the world that has designs by Core Crenshaw, Doak, and Hans Wagner, original designs now, because there is another place that will remain nameless that actually has designs by all 3, but 2 of them are renovations, and ours are original works. So that obviously sets us apart. And then if you're just talking about the state of Florida, like the topography is so unique to not just the state of Florida, but really the Southeast, that it really takes your breath away. I mean, when you stand on the first tee box at Blue, it's a 70-foot drop from the tee box to the first fairway. And it's one of the highest points on property. And you just look, it's 360-degree views of golf in every direction. And it's pretty compelling once you get there.
Yeah, that's tough to come by in Florida, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the great thing about Streamsong would be except for a small window in maybe October, I'm pretty familiar with hurricane season, you're just not going to have that potential for your golf trip to be ruined. Like if you go overseas to Ireland, Scotland, like you'll play through that junk, but you don't want to, and you don't want that to be the weather when you're on the plane, right? You don't want that to get your rain gloves out for, 10 days. And like you said, the temperatures are very reasonable in the winter. I've been to Central Florida in the wintertime, and you're right. It's not that. It's very rarely a frost delay, very rarely in the 30s. It's mostly, mid to high 40s at bare minimum. So hopefully cross fingers for that in early January as well, as we get started for the Golden Glove contest, which we are super excited to have you on today, just because you're the resort that we're going to, and we're super excited to make the trip in January. We've almost completed sending out the Golden Gloves, and I'll let Kerry kind of give you the genesis of the contest, where he came up with it, and how it's been going since early September when it started.
Yeah, it was probably a year ago. I was hearing some of the buzz about the new Willy Wonka movie, and it just reminded me. I remember, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and this idea of this golden ticket, and that got us thinking about, what could we do we want to do something to sort of celebrate with our customers. We wanted to do something where we actually golfed with some, Brad and I, as we're not playing as much golf as we'd like these days. So we need,
right?
Yeah, I always say, no matter how much golf I'm playing, I can always play more. But we wanted to put something on the calendar that was exciting for us and would be exciting for our customers. A real bucket list destination that we could all look forward to. But also, the idea of these golden tickets was to highlight how many sizes of gloves that we carry, and just how wide the sort of sizing is, and that need to sort of like get the right size. Our gloves come in up to 34 sizes, which includes our youth gloves. And so we came up with this concept where we highlighted our adult gloves come in 28 sizes. And so there's 22 for men, everything from a small to a double XL in right and left hand, in regular and cadet. And then our women's sizes come in 6 sizes, small, medium, large, right and left hand. But there can be some crossover, like some men go down into the women's gloves, and some women go into the men's gloves, right? They're sequential. So that was the idea, was to sort of use this lottery system and and start sending out these golden gloves, one in each of these sizes, that would sort of surprise and delight. And so everyone who gets one of those gets a $200 shopping spree on redroostergolf.com. So it's a pretty good prize in and of itself. And they get this awesome golden glove. It's an actual golden glove in their size. You can wear it. They're beautiful gloves. But also they're then entered in this draw. They'll have a 1 in 28 chance of getting this bucket list golf trip to Streamsong with us for a couple of days to play the courses. And then the other sort of benefit is that they get to bring one of their friends. And then we've got a separate entry, which is no purchase necessary. Anyone who gives us their email address, they're in a separate drawing. And obviously that's a bigger pool. We got thousands of entries so far, and there'll be one winner from that group as well. And they also get to bring a friend. So it's going to be a group of 8 of us. Andrew Jensen, who made the connection, runs our ambassador program. He's coming along with our top ambassador. So that's an ambassador who's sort of helped promote both this contest and a number of our different glove drops through the year. So there'll be 2 foursomes and down there for a couple of days. And obviously, we'll have our itinerary will be pretty chock full of golf, and I'd love to take on some of the other. I'm a big fisherman, so I would love to. I've actually got a nearly 7-pound largemouth here mounted in my office. I'll send you a picture after. So I would love to beat that if I could. But yeah, that's kind of the idea of the contest. And maybe Brad, you've interacted a little bit more with our customers as they're getting this, and it's probably going better than we'd hoped or anticipated, because the feedback, like when one of these gloves shows up, I guess we didn't really think through, what that impact would be, and like the emails that we've received and the excitement that's building. That part's been really special. It's really that surprise and delight is definitely happening.
Yeah, Carrie, that's one of your key taglines that you like to use: surprise and delight, right? And the emails that I get, because I've interacted with a lot of our subscribers, and a number of our subscribers have won golden gloves, but not necessarily all of the subscribers. But the way that they respond to getting the gift card, they send their selfie photos with the glove to Mandy, who does so much for us in terms of our socials and our marketing. Guys are just excited, right? Like when you buy something and you get more than you put in, I think that's kind of the key takeaway from me, is that any customer gets more than they bargained for in a good way. It's just they can't believe it, right? They can't believe that they won. They can't believe they have a chance to take this golf trip. I'm sure they've cleared it with their spouse. I'm sure they have, in the event that it's a possibility. And it's just exciting, because I think that so much today in business is kind of tick the box of doing the bare minimum, and what we're trying to do is give our customers that extra possibility, that extra like you said, surprise and delight, and just the opportunity to go on a trip. And we're bringing one of their friends as well, which I think is a unique thing. Not many. I don't think many companies would do that. I think they just take the guy, they play golf with us. Hey, that's great. But the opportunity to meet a couple new people who you've only interacted with through emails, right, is going to be fun. And then of course the wide ranging possibility of the tee shots that we're all going to hit, myself included, I think is going to be extra surprising in early January, where not everyone has played a ton of golf kind of in the months before that. So it's a great contest. Kerry gives himself not enough credit for it, because he and our designer Mariana had been doing it for about 2.5 months, and then I heard about it, and I thought, this is actually a good idea. So it was a surprise to me as well, and the implementation has been fun. Craig, I do all the fulfillment in the U.S., so I'm kind of boots on the ground here, And it's been fun hearing from folks who are excited to get that chance. And you'd be surprised how many notes on orders that you see. Hope it's a Golden Glove. Send me the Golden Glove, please. You can't please everyone, of course, but there are. I think there's 24, 25 so far out of the 28 that have received, and we've got another week or so to go, and then we announced the two lucky winners on November 8th. So it's been a great couple of months, and we're super thankful for you to kind of get involved with this, and we can't wait to get to Streamsong.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you guys. We've talked about this for a long time. Andrew and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and he's been here several times. And when he came to me with it, I was like, sure, love to do it. How do we make it cool? So I think y'all have done that. And I'm curious. So if you get the Gold Glove, are you also now able to moonwalk better?
If that were only possible.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we can't legislate coordination, right? We can't. Yeah, we can't help with that. I know Andrew. I remember Andrew when he did a lot of YouTube stuff. One of his first videos was him getting to Streamsong. Were you involved with that? It was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
It was in 21.
In 21. Okay, I remember he was so excited to get there. And I watched, when he was doing a lot of YouTube, I'd watch them, and he did a really good job with that video and kind of showcasing the golf courses and everything. That was really neat. But I'm thinking that through the lens of a camera is going to be a lot different than being there in person.
It's interesting because, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and video is worth more than that. And we try to use as much video as we can, but even with all of that, it just doesn't quite do justice to what your eye picks up when you see it, and just the scale of everything, because things tend to look smaller with the exception of people on television. You see a camera hits 10 pounds, but when you look at like the topography and the undulation and the scale of the property, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong on video, but boy, when you see it in person, it's the pictures in the video don't do it justice.
Right. And you had mentioned the first tee, 70 feet in the air. I've played a lot of competitive golf in Florida, and I don't think you'll mind. This is outside of your competitive set. Like I've played at TPC Sawgrass and PGA National and Copperhead, Innsbruck, whatever. And you don't see that at all. You don't see those elevation changes. You don't see the topography that you're talking about. And so I'm super excited to see it, because inland Florida, that's not what you think, right? No. You're thinking swamp and just very flat. So I can't wait to get out there.
Yeah, if you got blindfolded and you end up on the first tee there, you wouldn't know where you are, and I don't think you'd choose Central Florida. So it really is a spectacular sight, and it's really unique.
There's actually a quote, Kerry, from Tom Doak, who says if you were blindfolded and parachuted in, Streamsong Florida would not be in the first 40 guesses.
Okay.
No doubt. Well, Craig, we really appreciate you helping us out with this. We can't wait to meet you in person at the beginning of January. We can't wait to introduce you to the two Golden Glove winners and their two golf buddies. And again, just a million thanks for helping us launch the inaugural Golden Glove contest. And just a million thanks. And we really appreciate all you've done for Red Rooster Golf.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, look forward to having you here in January, and we're going to make it a great trip for you.
Amazing. Yeah, appreciate it. It's been a great partnership. It's been a lot of fun. And I've had it circled on my calendar for a while. So looking forward to meeting in person and just enjoying everything that Streamsong has to offer.
Well, we will take good care of you and your guests, and thank you for partnering with us, and let's do it again sometime.
Amazing.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Craig.
And there he goes, Craig Falanga, Director of Sales and Marketing at Streamsong. We can't thank him enough for joining us, and we're just super pumped to play this golf resort in a couple months. Carrie, I know you are. You're more of a I've always played the tournament courses. You've played the destination courses. So I guess we're in store for quite a treat, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this place it's super special. It's nearly 10 years since I played uh, red and blue, and I still remember them. And black was under construction, so super excited to see that. And then there's so much more. There's a 1.2 acre putting course, the Gauntlet. There's a separate 2.2 acre putting course that's built just around the 19 hole match play course. It's just skeet shooting, sporting clays, world-class bass fishing, the rooms, the amenities, 9 restaurants. Anyway, it really is. It's incredible place, and amazing for golf. It's I guess just amazing resort, just getaway, and really looking forward to getting there ourselves. I think kind of selfishly, but also, bringing our team and bringing some of our best customers and exposing them to it. I think it's going to be a really special time.
Yeah, with this Golden Glove trip plus the PGA show and in end of January, and then obviously the Ottawa and Toronto golf shows, and I think late Jan, early February, man, it's going to be a jam-packed month or a month and a half for Red Rooster, especially in Canada. But it'll be good, man. I have not played hardly any golf at all this year, so it'll be good to get away for a couple days and just loosen up a bit. I'm gonna need a nap, I think, in the middle of each day because there's just a lot to do.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, so I know you'll be out just grinding the entire time. 36 plus the chain, couple putting courses. Take on all comers. You're that guy. But
yeah, I'm a sicko.
Yeah, this glove contest, man. Like I said in the interview, this was your thing. It was your idea, and I think it's just been it's been fun. It's been delightful to see just a lot of people's reactions to it. I just got this is bad, but a little bit funny, and I'm assuming he's okay since he's emailing me. But one of our big customers, William May, I believe he's from North Carolina, but he said, I was asking him for a selfie with the Cadet XL Golden Glove that he just won, and he said, Brad, I'm in the hospital. I just had a heart attack. I think I was so excited about getting the Golden Glove, and I just couldn't take it. Now he actually had a heart attack. He's in a hospital with a heart attack.
Yikes!
So hoping for the best for Will, but I just got an email, and but he was super excited, and he's like, "No, I don't care what my health is. I'm going. So we'll see. We'll see if William makes the trip. But
to bring a defibrillator.
Yeah, no kidding. So all the best to Will and his recovery. But it's been fun to see some people's reactions, because again, you can't emphasize enough, like kind of in this world business climate, a lot of people have low expectations, right? And it's just been kind of our mantra from the beginning, like just give them everything and more that we can, because it's I would say with just a little bit of effort, it's not that hard to win a customer over. It's just you have to put the effort in, and you have to be available, and you just have to meet them kind of on an eye-to-eye human level, and not think that they're dealing with AI or an auto reply or anything like that. So
Right.
It's been kind of our thing at Red Rooster, just like the customer's right, so let's make it right. Let's make sure that they exit any conversation, email, chat with a smile on their face. So this kind of puts an exclamation point on that concept, I think. And it's just year one, and obviously there's a whole bunch of stuff that we could probably do better in terms of this contest, but I think so far it's going great. And yeah, man, this was all your idea. And embarrassingly, I remember our first conversation about it. We were a few months into conception of it, but I was like, oh, tell me about Willy Wonka. I don't know anything about it. I remember your shock.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny. I like the connection. At the end of the day, that's the thing I love about Red Rooster Golf is just, it's actually the game, right? And so there's something about these really special places. There's been this real shift in golf. Streamsong is a perfect example of it, of just, there were a lot of resort courses before, and a lot of them are, really, I think, really difficult. Typically sort of close to major metropolitan areas. That was sort of like the blueprint. And then it's really shifted to these, destination spots where, the golf can be spectacular, but it can be really fun too. Like my memories of Streamsong were of, there's the ability to like make some birdies, right? And I think that's the big thing. You're not going to get your head kicked in out there. You're going to have a chance to, to play well, to score well, and to just enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to connecting, because that's been something that we sort of identified early in the year is, we want to have a few things on the calendar that we're looking forward to ourselves, and that where we can have, a connection with some of our customers and have some fun. So so far the contest has sort of exceeded expectations. It's definitely something that we want to, do annually. And certainly, to your point, we can do it better. I think team's done an amazing job of executing on this. We just sort of had a rough idea of what we wanted to accomplish, but then once you started getting into the weeds and the logistics and the implementation, there was a lot more to it than we'd anticipated. But I think we've rolled with the punches. The response has been great. The partnership with Streamsong's outstanding. So we're on the countdown now. Inside of a couple months, I'm looking forward to, January is always a bit of a tough month in Ottawa. Yeah, this weekend it's going, down into the 20s here. So, golf is wrapping up, and it's nice to have something on the calendar to look forward to.
Yeah, my parents always try to squeeze the absolute most out of their time at the Carleton Golf and Yacht Club. It's where they play, and I've been getting some texts. I guess the weather has been okay, because I know that my mom made 5 pars yesterday, and my dad told me the length of the putts that she had to make and all that. He's just given us the 411. He's been retired for 15 or 20 years, so he's got his things that he needs to do, and one of those is keep us up to date on his golf, which is always
amazing.
It's fun to hear, yeah. January in Ottawa, man, it's kind of if you're a golfer, it's kind of a beatdown. So at least you'll be able to get down there and play some golf, and I'm looking forward to joining you. So that's going to be something. What countdown is about 2.5 months until then. Mm-hmm. And man, can't wait. Got Christmas and New Year's, and then right into golf at Streamsong. It's going to be awesome.
Boom.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you, of course, for the time. It's been a while since we did a podcast, so this is great. Craig was super informative. You're the golf architect buff. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
And so
architect nerd.
No, I was not going to do anything derogatory. Just keep it positive. But I didn't know a ton about Streamsong before today. A little bit. I've seen pictures and videos, but just to kind of put it into context of, it's not like Florida. Like you said, you drop in the middle of it and you think you're somewhere near the coast. So looking forward to that. And we're going to wrap it up here. Until next time. Yeah. Thanks for listening to the Red Rooster Golf Podcast. On behalf of my partner, Carrie Moher, I am Brad Fritsch. The next podcast, you may hear us before Streamsong. It might be after Streamsong. And if it's after Streamsong, you're going to hear a lot of the great shots that we hit, the great times that we had with Red Rooster Golf customers, and the number of times that we teed it high, let it fly, and yelled cock-a-doodle-doo.